Hi everybody, my name is John Mills and I am the Drunken Nerd Painter. So today we're doing a live painting, and if you join me today, I welcome your suggestions. We're doing a demonstration of my drunken painting style. The drunken painting style is a technique of painting in which I developed that allows anybody, no matter what skill level, no matter if you have a disability, no matter anything, as long as you have a dream in your heart, you can put something beautiful on this canvas. All it takes is alcohol, the desire to do it, and some other shit, and I totally rehearsed this, but I fucked it up. Anyway, so today we're going to be doing a fantasy image. Now, like I said, I've got a general layout of what I'm going to be doing, but I kind of kept it open just in case we do get some suggestions that people would like to see. But in a nutshell, we're going to be doing a hot-ass fucking warrior bitch, okay, with gigantic, massive titties, okay? She's going to be in the front here, and I'm going to have her pointing, all right? We're going to have some fucking Dragon Quest, kind of like Dragon Quest-inspired slimes at the bottom at her feet. We're going to have a big fucking sweet-ass mountain back here, water source, some big-ass fucking trees, gigantic fucking star, moon, sun, whatever the hell you want to call it, but it's going to be fucking huge. And we're going to be using a lot of, like, fucking, like, bright colors, like some wizard type shit spell got put on this motherfucker. But anyway, and also drinking Keystone Light. I actually like Keystone Light. A lot of people think it's really fucking watery, and it is. But it helps you slowly get to the point in which you need. It's kind of like the difference between drinking alcohol, excuse me, instead of drinking beer and fucking liquor. Liquor will get you fucked up quick. But if that's the type of drink you prefer to drink while you're doing this particular style, go for it. If you like them fucking Seagrams, do that shit. You like wine, champagne, doesn't matter. As long as you got some alcohol in your system to build courage, you can ejaculate beautiful pictures on this canvas. And we're going to fucking ejaculate something awesome on here today. So, let's get started. And I need my palette over here because I totally forgot to pick it up. Now then, like I said, we're going to be using some fucking bright-ass colors, okay? Like I said, I wanted to make it look like some kind of fucking mystical place or like some wizard was like, fuck yeah, put some spell on this shit. So, I'm thinking purples, I'm thinking reds, bright-ass colors. So I'm looking at the sky right here. So we're going to do the fucking sky first. And I'm going to fucking ejaculate some purple all up in there. So I got some nice like lavender type color here. We're going to do that shit first. I'm going to kind of thin it out though. Got my 2-inch brush. Like I said, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please let me know. We're just putting like a little fucking wash on here or something, you know. I ain't trying to achieve no deep tones. I just want a nice, like, lavender-ass background. Just start fucking squirting and ejaculating it everywhere. Now, to that, I think I'm going to hit some dark purple. Not too much. Take that same brush, ain't no sense in washing. And we're just going to start fucking squirting this on here too. Just kind of thin it out a little bit because the canvas is damp. And I just want a bunch of different fucking values here. There we go, that's what I'm talking about. Oh man, I got a paint chunk on it. Make sure and put your lids down tight when you close your paints. Got a couple paint chunks on it. Damn. Well, it'll just add texture to it. Now, I'm thinking to this, we're going to squirt some fucking red up in it. I'm going to go to my fan brush for this. I'm going to keep this paint chunky too. We're just putting just basically where we want it, you know what I mean? Because we're going to go into it afterwards with a clean brush and just do this fucking shit right here. Kind of smooth that out, blend that shit out. Oh, that's nice right there. Now, before we get too carried away, we'll go ahead and ejaculate my fucking star up there. Now, I'm going to use straight up white. And it's going to blend a lot with the purples and the reds that we got in there. So, imagine where you want this son of a bitch. Take your finger. Start making a fucking star right there. We'll go into it a couple times. Like I said, I want this son of a bitch big. Like I said, a lot of that purple's going to get up in that bitch, but that's fine. We're going to go back to the center. Wipe it out like that. Now, I'm thinking about throwing a little bit of yellow up in there too. Just put a little dot in the center. And a little more. You can do entire paintings just with your finger. Actually, that's a good idea for an episode of the Drunken Nerd Painter. I need to write that down. I may do that one day. Now with our fucking fan brush, we're just going to do that shit right there. I want that bitch sparkling up in there. Now I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but that yellow is making streaks in there, and I like that. It's not necessarily what I intended, but I like it. Clean this fucking brush out. The most important thing I can tell you when you're doing this is to paint what you want to see. A lot of people get caught up in trying to paint an image they think will look good. But it's not necessarily something that, if they thought about it in those terms of painting what you want to see, they would paint. So that's why you see a lot of my paintings. A lot of people think they're goofy, they're funny, but I paint exactly what I want to see. I paint a lot of pictures of big titty warriors with fucking swords and chopped off heads and shit. Because I want to see that. So that's why I paint it. That's the whole point of the drunken painting style, to paint exactly what it is that you personally want to see. Now let's start, while this is drying a little bit, let's start thinking about this ground part here. So, I got me some fucking green here. And I'm going to darken it up with some black. A little bit of green. Actually, I take that back. Let's throw some blue in it. About equal parts. Now I'm actually going to mix this real good on the canvas. I ain't going to go crazy with it, but mix it till it's blended pretty good. And I'm going to start throwing in a ground right here. Now like I said, I'm not 100% sure where we're going with this. But anything we throw in here, we can totally cover up. Oh, and I like that color. That's good. Now I've used this same color to actually make water. If you happen to see the Drunken Nerd Painter episode 12, which I just put out a few days ago, the water in that picture is green. Well, it's a blue-green. This was actually the color I was more so thinking about doing, but it ended up turning more green than blue. That right there looks like some sweet fucking water. Although I intended it to be ground, I'll tell you what, we're going to keep that as water. I like that. So, we got the water here now, right? So, towards the bottom here, I'm going to try and start thinning this out. Kind of like it's getting shallower and shallower. So I'm just going to try and lighten this up. May work, may not. I don't know. Anything you do and anything you make a mistake with, you can go back. You can change it. You can change what you're doing. And see, I'm already getting ideas in my head now on what to do here. Now, towards the bottom here, what I'm thinking, first thing I'm thinking is I'm going to get another sip of this beer. We're just going to take some of this water right here. That's how we're going to keep this flowing and getting thinner and thinner. Because it's progressively darker towards the top than it is that bottom, and I actually kind of like that. And doing all these little strokes like this, you're getting different textures. Now, when it dries, it's probably going to be a lot smoother than the way it looks right now, but hopefully it'll retain a little bit of that, you know, the brush strokes. But if it don't, it's okay. And as you can see at the bottom, we're real fucking light here. Alright, go in here where it's bleeding a little bit. So what I'm going to do now, go back to the top, kind of roughly do this. What I'm thinking is the Big Boob Warrior chick is going to be down here towards the bottom in the shallow part of the water. That's the intention, at least. We'll see how it works out. Put a little bit more color because that is kind of thin there. There we go. You don't need expensive brushes. You don't need expensive paints. All you need is some beer, a desire to do this, courage, and the thought that if you put your entire heart and your entire balls into this, that no matter what you paint, it's going to end up being beautiful. Because when we ejaculate onto the canvas, we ejaculate our heart's desire. No, I'm not drunk yet, but I haven't eaten in like 6 hours. Well, 5 hours. And this is the first beer, and I'm feeling pretty good right now. So, anyway, I'm liking what I see right here. Let me wash the brush out. Now let's look at our painting here for a second. We got some work to do on this sky up here. Now the paint, good, has dried a little bit. That sun is still a little wet, but that's okay because we're trying not to go over that with anything. We're going to go over with some clouds, but I ain't worried about that shit. So this is what I'm thinking right here. I'm thinking we go in and we start laying in. Actually, I'm feeling something else. I'm going to take some of this red I got. I'm actually going to mix it with a little bit of green just to darken it down a little bit. It's still going to be predominantly red. I'm going to take my finger in here, and right here, fuck it, I'm going to put a second sun. I'm going to get my fan brush. I'm going to do the same thing. Actually, I'm going to get the tiny fan brush. And in a moment here, I'd like to show you the particular brushes that I use. Now, of course, you can use whatever you like. Doesn't matter. And I tell you, we're going to go on that again because that kind of... Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, I tell you what we're going to do also. We're going to use our finger here. And very lightly, very carefully, bam, we're going to put a dot in the middle. I'm going to try and blend this out in such a way that color is retained. There we go. Does that even show up? Yeah, that does show up on the camera. Okay, good. So, once again, while that's drying a little bit, let me go over the brushes that I use in my drunken painting style. Again, the drunken painting style is you can use whatever brushes you want. You can use whatever kind of paints you want. Oils, acrylics, doesn't fucking matter. You can use any type of surface to paint on. Hell, if you want to paint on fucking wood, you can paint on wood. You can paint on sheetrock, I don't give a shit. Paint what you want to paint. Now, I do use traditional implements in terms of that situation, but let me show you the paint brushes that I use. Now, you can tell, and it's no secret, that this was adapted from the Bob Ross style. Okay, so I use mostly the same type of brushes he uses, and plus a few extras. Okay, so what I have here, what I just used, is the tiny fan brush. That's a little ass fan brush. Okay, these are all nylon brushes. Okay, Bob Ross painted with oil paints. I paint mostly with acrylic. I have done a few oil paintings. Well, more than a few, but I've done predominantly more acrylic paintings. And he also used the natural bristle brushes, which I use nylon. The natural bristle, if you're using those with oils, the oils are so heavy that it can actually manipulate the bristles on the brush. If you ever watched him paint before, you ever watched The Joy of Painting, you can see him pulling the paint through the brush. He turns it around, and the paints are so heavy that I can't think of the right word. Let me put it this way: if you use a fucking nylon brush with a lot of that, the naps, the things right here, they're going to be perfectly straight all the time. All right. So I use the little tiny fan brush. All these are nylon brushes. I use a 2-inch brush. This is mostly for backgrounds. I do use a palette knife with my boy on the front. Let me show that right here. Damn. Come on now. There we go. So, palette knife, just the one size. I don't use the smaller version. I may actually get one later on, but I don't use it right now. 1-inch brush. I use the bigger fan brush. This is a big-ass fan brush. And this son of a bitch is old. Look how much use that's got. It's getting kind of loose up there at the top. I may have to get me a new one eventually. Kind of attached to it, though. I use, a lot of people call this a filbert brush. I call it a 3/8-inch brush. I just call it by size. Okay. I use a multitude of fine detail brushes. So they're all different shapes. These are just for the finer details. There's a little one. There's a taller one with longer naps on it, or longer bristles, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Here's another one of those, like filbert brushes or whatever. Another little fine detail brush. I go through these like hotcakes. Now these right here are little flat end brushes, but they're smaller than the other ones. And last but not least, I use a toothbrush. And I'm actually going to use this toothbrush in this painting today. I didn't plan on it, but now that I've showed it, I'm going to show you what I can do with it. So anyway, that's the brushes that I use. I'm always adding, I'm always taking away. But again, use whatever you like, whatever you're comfortable with. Okay? Now, enough talk. Let's go back to this shit. Alright, now then, let's sit here and look at our painting. We need to throw some fucking clouds up in that bitch. Alright? So, I'm going to take some white. And what I'm thinking here is I'd like some white clouds, but we're going to throw just a tiny bit of red in it. And Bob Ross did that shit all the time. He always talked about I forgot the phrasing he used, but just don't add too much, otherwise it's going to end up being pink. But this just adds a little bit of color to it. Do that right there. Now we're going to do our clouds with a little 1-inch brush. Well, I'll say a little bit, We're going to do that with a 1-inch brush. So I'm just going to throw my fucking brush in here, and we're going to start fucking squirting and ejaculating some clouds up in here. Now just think about where you want your clouds to be, and just fucking go with it. And I'm just tapping this shit. Ain't got to be perfect. And we're going right across that fucking sun. And right here, I'm just going to start wiggling that shit. Kind of blend it out. Now, when we start pulling on this, it's going to blend it out even more, and it's going to be, you know, look more like fucking clouds. You know what I mean? I'm starting to get a little buzz on one fucking beer. God damn. Wish it was like that all the time. Tip: if you want to get drunk really fast, don't eat nothing for about 5-6 hours. Do it on an empty stomach. Same thing with caffeine. If you want to fucking rush, drink coffee or like a soda with on an empty stomach right in the fucking morning. Your ass will be through the wall. So anyway, do a little stringy one right here. I'm trying not to pull here. I'm just tapping, but I'm going to end up blending it out a little bit. Alright, so up here, I'll do this shit right here, and this one just comes right off the fucking canvas. Now I don't want to go too crazy with these clouds. And I'm trying to do this fast because we're working with acrylic, and acrylic will fucking dry. So I'm thinking we're going to add a little red, straight fucking red. Throw a little white in there, just lighten it up. I'm just going to use a fucking palette knife here. And I'm just going to tap the fucking top of this, just to add color to it, because we're coming back in here, and I'm going to blend this fucking shit out. And if you're working with acrylic, you need to do this fast, because it will fucking dry. Alright, now, we're going to do the opposite. On the bottom, take a little white here. We'll take straight fucking white. Tap a little white on the bottom. Just to get some paint on the canvas. That's really the only reason we're doing this. We're going to come back with our 1-inch brush, or actually, let me use a 2. With our 2-inch brush. Now I'm going to add a little bit of water to the bristles and then dry it a little bit, but still retain a little bit of that water just to get it kind of moist or whatever. And we're just going to start fucking pulling it. And we're going to do this shit right here. And I covered up most of my fucking sun there, so anyway, still like that though. Look good. You still really tell there's the light source is coming from here though. So that's what we really want. Get a little bit of that red out. There we go. Alright. Now I'm thinking I do want to go back in there with some black. With the black, we're just going to use a finger here. Start fucking pulling it on the bottom of these clouds. Okay. Same thing. I'm just going to go in here with a dry brush. I'll just use my fucking fan brush this time. Doesn't really matter. Pulling that out. Pull that out. There we go. Just like I said, we're just adding color to it. Now, just keep in mind, most of what we're doing here is going to end up getting covered up by a big fucking mountain anyway. So, I'm going to hit the rest of this beer, go re-up, and I'll be right back. Oh, all right. Okay. Now then, I think it's about time we go ahead and throw our fucking mountain in here. Okay? Now for our mountain, I'm going to use some blue and some black. We just want a dark color here. Try not to get it too dark, but I want it to retain some of the value. I don't want it to just look like black when you put it on the canvas. So we're going to use our palette knife. We're going to throw a roll of paint like that. Now again, this is acrylic. We're using a knife. So this shit will fucking drip on you depending on how thin you got it. But anyway, so we're going to go up here figure out where you want your mountain, and we're just going to lay out the fucking general outline of it, okay? So I don't want a fucking crazy ass big mountain. So I tell you what, we just going to do that shit right there. Right there. And you're going to pull some of that wet color with you. If you have more time than I do, of course, I have to keep fucking painting there. You know, you might want to let these layers dry before you do it, or if you're using oils, you're fine. If you're using a wet-on-wet technique. But generally speaking, if you're using acrylic, it might be a good idea to just let shit dry. Unless you're going for a particular style, and that's what you want to do. Right here, like I said, we're just getting the general outline, and we're getting some paint on the canvas to work with. So I'm happy with that right there. That looks pretty good. We're going to go back with a little 1-inch brush. While it's still a little wet, we're going to take it and we're going to start fucking pulling it. And that's adding, ooh, yeah, it blended with them colors in the background. That's actually adding some really, really nice tones to it. I like that. So that's one of them happy accidents, bitches. Right here. Take it, pull that shit down. I like it. Oh. There we go. Looks good to me. Okay. Now, we need a color for our highlights. We need a color for our darker area. Now, we do have actually 2 fucking light sources here. We got the big ass star. We got the little red ass one. So over here, I'm thinking about doing a little red over there, just to give it a red hue on it. Find a clean place here. I'm gonna take some of this fucking red. Now right here, where that red star will strike, bam, just ejaculated all over there. There we go. Now over here, I'm thinking a pink color. Now, for every fucking light side, we gotta have a dark side. I'm thinking the best dark color is gonna end up, we're going to do a darker version of that fucking pink. And I actually like that right there. So I'll tell you what else we're going to do too. I still got some of this green. I'm going to throw some green streaks in it. I don't know why, but I'm just going to fucking do it. Because it feels like the right thing to do. Okay. Now also too, with that dark color, I'm going to add some more to the other side. Just in individual spots. Like that right there. Maybe that. There we go. Got some more of this white. Right here, just throw a couple white streaks up in that biatch. Same thing with a little red side. There we go. Now on the shadow side, there we go. Alright, I like that. You can really overwork something to death. What we got here? Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. By the way, if you have any suggestions, let me know. Biatch. But anyway, and by the way, if you've not checked out the new episodes of the Drunken Nerd Painter, I would highly recommend you do so. Because I believe they're fantastic. But anyway, let's get back to this bitch. So, we got a fucking mountain here. Sky, land, well, water. And actually, it did retain some of the texture. So I'm actually happy about that. I didn't know if it would retain the texture that much, but it actually did. So our brush strokes did count in that situation. So, now then, here's what I'm thinking. We need to go ahead and throw some fucking trees up in this biatch. Now, well, I'm saying trees, but this is fucking water. So I tell you what. Okay, I'm actually stumped here because I changed this fucking painting up so much I don't know what the fuck to do. Here's what I'm thinking. This right here, we can change this to land. Okay, not all of it because I want to keep this down here. Actually, I don't want to change any of that because I like that. I like that water right there. Maybe we've limited our options quite a bit by having so much damn water in this thing. But I hate to change it now because I really like that. So, maybe we should. Maybe we should actually make this little small part right here actually land. Because I'm sitting here thinking, and this actually, it does limit my options. Now, I guess I could come out here and make cliffs and stuff right here. The only problem with that, okay, is I want the fucking big boob chick to be standing in the shallow part of the water here. So, can't fucking do that if you got some big ass cliffs right here. So, I tell you what, we are going to do that. We're going to fucking convert this small section to actual land. Okay? Not too much of it, but I want enough land there to be able to throw some fucking trees on it. Because I can't just have fucking trees in the water. That wouldn't make no sense. Now, keep in mind, if that's something that you would like to do, using the drunken paint style, you can damn sure do it. Just doesn't fit with what I'm trying to do. So, I'm going to make a light-ass brown color here. And I just got the big ass fan brush out, and I'm not going to over mix it. We're going to go up here. Oh, that's perfect. That is fucking perfect. And in fact, I'm not going to extend this very far. I'm going to go just a little bit further down. A little bit further. Okay, I'm cool right there. While that's doing its thing, I'm going to throw some of this white and we're going to cut in some water lines. Because I like for that to dry just a little bit before I start fucking ejaculating some trees on there. Now then, you can put as many water lines in as you want, or as few. And I actually prefer to do this while it's wet, but you know. It all works. Now towards the bottom here, I'm going to kind of stop because you can actually see the canvas towards the bottom here, and this is where a big boob chick is going to end up standing. I'm going to try not to overdo it with the water lines here. You know what? Works for me. Alright. Also, too, let's throw a couple birds up in this biatch. So, we're just going to do some M birds here. So, I got a little tiny ass brush out, right? Got some black on it. God damn. Part of that background ain't dry yet. Okay. So we got one bird there. That's one. Tell you what, we're going to throw one right on the fucking sun. Fuck it, throw one more in there. Nah, that's overkill. Okay. So I'm liking that so far. Now, it's always good to sit back and look at your painting. Kind of see where you're at. You know what I mean? So, I'm looking at it right now. I'm happy with it. A lot of this is doing it in the proper order, okay? That's the only thing you really need to learn about the drunken painting style. And it's with any style in general. The drunken painting style, okay, is right here. Okay, it's no specific techniques or nothing like that. It's you having the balls to just fucking go for it, regardless of your skill level. It is having the courage to say, hey, what I'm about to paint isn't going to fucking look to most people as good as what you would think would look good, okay, if that makes any fucking sense. But I'm going to sit here and fucking paint it anyway because I want to paint it and end the fucking story. If you go into this with the right mindset, okay, and you say to yourself, I'm going to paint a beautiful picture because I'm going to paint it the best that I possibly can, everything you paint will be beautiful. Now, with that said, the only thing you really need to learn with the drunken painting style is some real basic principles. Now, this may sound obvious. It may sound really obvious, but it's something a lot of people don't think of, especially people who've never painted before. You always paint what's behind first. So, for example, we painted the fucking sky first, obviously, and then we painted the fucking ground first. Obviously, because the sky is going to be the fucking background to everything, pretty much. And the ground is obviously the background to whatever's on top of it. So you always paint the fucking what's behind before you paint what's in front, okay? And even a lot of fucking times, I fuck up and I paint something, like lots of times in terms of my, like, sun and star, sky, like moon and shit. Sometimes I fuck up, I do the clouds first, then I go do the fucking moon. Which I should have did the moon first because the moon's fucking further away. Again, it's a very simple concept, but it's something a lot of people don't think of. Learn that concept, and that will take you really fucking far. Okay? So, the only thing you really need to learn with the drunken paint style is the general principles of painting in general, which is paint what's behind first. Okay? Makes sense. Seems obvious, but a lot of people don't think about it. Anyway, there's your fucking lesson for this particular moment of this video. Also, keep in mind, a lot of what I'm saying right now is me fucking stalling because I don't know what to do next. For sure. But I think I have a good idea right now. So, the land we put down. We need to throw some fucking highlights on it. Now, right now I can look at it and tell it's shiny, so it's still a little bit wet. So I'm going to go back over it with some fucking white. And I'm just going, let me put this white over here. I just want to fucking scrape the top. And I have a little bit of green in this too. I just want to fucking scrape the top. I got a little bit of white and green on my thing. I want to fucking scrape it, okay? I'm not going to try and add a shit ton of color. I just want just something there to break the fucking color scheme up, okay? That's all I want. Just something like that. Now, what we are going to do is we're going to take our fucking filbert brush out. Actually, we're not going to take our filbert brush out. We're going to, let's use our fan brush. But I tell you what, we're going to use the little tiny fan brush. And we're going to build some trees. So I got a little tiny fan brush here. And we're going to go in here and build some fucking sweet ass trees. So I got my brown color. And this is just brown. I'm not mixing it with anything. It's a good color by itself. I'm getting a decent amount of paint on the bristles. Okay? We're going to go in here. Now I want to put some trees. But keep in mind, that's a big fucking mountain. So you don't want big ass trees right here, especially when it's right in front of it. So we're going to throw some little ass trees in there. So I do have some brown, but we're going to go over that with some fucking green and stuff afterwards. So anyway, what I want to do first, and in fact, actually now that I think about it, let me do these a dark green. So I got my green out. I'm going to load my fucking tiny fan brush up with some of that sweet ass green. Now the first thing I'm going to do is do this shit right here. Just do this shit right here. And it's going to lift some of that other color up, but that's okay. So we're going to add that there. Now we're going to go up here and just, ooh, shit, too much paint. There we go. And we're just going to do this shit right here. Then reload your fucking brush as needed. And as you're painting, get yourself a sip of beer. And try not to fuck up like I just did. But once again, reload your brush as needed. And make them different sizes. Not all these trees are going to be the same fucking size. Some are going to be bigger than others. Some are going to be small. Some will be short, fat. All different kinds of trees. Alright. So we have a nice little tree line here, and I'm going to do this shit right here. Now we're going to come back in a minute, and we're going to make some fucking sweet bushes there, okay? We're also going to make some trunks to all these trees too. I'll show you an easy way to do that. Courtesy of my boy Bob Ross. So while it's wet, here's what I want to do. I got some white, and I'm going to clean this little tiny fan brush out first. Alright, clean it real good. By the way, you clean acrylic paint with just plain water. And that's 2 beers down. So, we're going to take some of the water here, right? We're going to add some of this white. And we're going to make it thin. We don't want it crazy thin, but we definitely want a thin consistency here. Because we're going to go on these trees and tap the fucking top. Okay? So we're going to add a little bit of highlight. Now over here, if I wanted to, I could very easily use just some red, because we have a red source of light coming from this star right here. But that's okay. I'm not going to bother with it too much. Okay. Now we have some highlights on there. Now let me show you what we're going to do here. I got the same brush. And I'm putting some more white on it. I'm not going crazy with it. And at the bottom, I'm just going to lift up like that. And this is going to give the indication of thousands and thousands of fucking tree trunks. Oh shit. Barely touch the canvas. You literally, I'm not even joking, you want only a couple bristles to hit that shit. Look at that. Perfect. And yeah, that probably doesn't even show up on the camera at all. But I promise you, there's a bunch of little tiny trunks there. Okay. Now, down here, I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to put a bunch of fucking bushes and shit in front of those trees. Right after I get a beer. And piss. Oh yeah! All right. Oh Lord. All right, we are back. Now, lots of times during my episodes of the Drunken Nerd Painter, you see me during an intermission eating something. Now, most of the time when I do that is I eat something to regulate drunkenness. Okay? So, if you start with an empty stomach, you can get drunk real quick. All right? But you can't get too drunk while you're doing this. I mean, don't get me wrong, that sounds fucking sweet. But you can't get too fucking drunk while you're doing this. So, I use food to regulate my drunkenness at certain points of the particular painting. Now, I won't be doing that tonight because I don't have anything prepared right now. If you need something quick, I highly recommend peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. They're fucking delicious. And the bread soaks up the alcohol real fucking good. So, if you need a quick food to regulate drunkenness, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. But just to answer anybody's questions, if you were curious why I'm always eating my fucking videos, is because at that particular point, I've gotten past the point of what's comfortable. Okay? So, I need to eat something to bring my drunkenness down, to bring my alcohol level down. Okay? Now, if in your particular paintings, you're okay with that level of drunkenness, then by all means do it. Okay? But you should let the alcohol help you. Okay? You shouldn't let it control you though. Okay? In terms of the painting. You shouldn't let it control you. So let the alcohol be a help, but don't let it fucking control you. But at the same time, if you want to obtain a massive alcohol blood level or whatever, if that's what works for you in this particular style, by all means, do it. Now, we're going to go back to this. Now, we're going to make a bunch of fucking shrubbery and bushes and shit in front of these trees. And don't worry, we're getting to the big boob chick soon. So if you're worried about that, I'll have you eye candy here soon. Okay? Well, relatively soon. So, we're going to do that. We're going to go back to that small little fan brush, right? Now, I'm going to take 3 different colors here. And I'm going to need to wipe my palette off in a little bit. I'm going to take yellow. I'm going to take some red. I've already got red. And I'm going to take some of this orange. A little bit of orange. Now, once again, I'm going to thin these paints out a little bit. We're going to start with the orange, okay? We're not getting too thin, but we're getting, you know, thinner than what's normal. So I'm going to go back, and I just want to, I'm pushing up. So these bristles are going to be pushing up like that, okay? So we're going to just fucking start pushing up right here at the edge. Bam. I'm going to leave some space here. And that's all we're fucking doing. Alright, so that's our orange. We'll wipe that out. I'm not even going to wash my brush. I'm not worried about it. Take some water. We're going to go into the red. So this is going to be predominantly orange. Of course, with some red. Now, as you touch it to the orange, it's going to pick up the color. So try not, if you're not going for that, try not to fucking pick up too much color. Alright, so that's some red. Now, we're going to go in this yellow. Oh, and I just wanted a multitude of colors. Right here where I got some of the green showing, I was trying to cover it up with some of the yellow. Go back in here, get some of that orange. Just make layers. Just start ejaculating different layers on here. Okay. Now, we got that. Now I think it's time we go in here and put a little bit of a shoreline here. Now the way we do that, we're gonna go back. Actually, yeah, let's keep using our little tiny fan brush. We're gonna take that brown color that we made the landmass with in front of the mountain. Add a little bit more white to it just to make it fucking lighter color. Alright, that is still too dark. Go over here. Alright, that's more so what I'm looking for. So I just got a really super light brown color. Kind of like the consistency of sand. We're going to go here. We ain't going to go fucking ape shit, alright? I'm just going to put a little bit of a shoreline here. There we go. Okay. That actually looks very good. I'm happy with that. Very happy with that. Just wash the brushes here for a minute. You can follow me on Twitter for updates on all of the JonsNerdRage videos. Also, I have a Google Plus and a Tumblr account. It's probably best though to keep up with me through Twitter. That's where I post all my updates. I'll let you know what video I'm working on and shit. So there you go. I actually have a video already completely edited and finished. I'm just waiting until Friday to put it out because I'm trying to put out videos on a consistent basis, at least once a week. It's JonsNerdRage episode 4, the gaming series I have. I review Super Mario Brothers. So, well, you can call it a review. You'll understand that when you see the video. But I'll try and put that out, I think it's Friday night. But the video's shot, it's edited, it's ready to go. So, I was actually going to film another episode of the Drunken Nerd Painter tonight. But I decided not to. I said, you know, let me do another live stream. Maybe I can explain the style a little bit better. I'm probably going to end up filming another episode of the Drunken Nerd Painter tomorrow night. Probably. But I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so we're looking at our painting right here. And I'm pretty happy with it. Okay? Now, what I would like to do is we probably need to go ahead and put our big boob chick in. Yay! Everybody's fucking happy and excited. Okay. So let's go ahead and put our big boob chick in. Now, the way we're going to do this, alright, I want her standing straight up. Okay? I want her massive fucking tits exploding out. Okay? I want her pointing like this. In fact, I would show you an image that I'm trying to inspired from it, but I don't want to move my shit. But I want her like this. It's a Frank Frazetta painting. It's called Sea Witch. Okay? And we're not copying. We're inspired. But it's a sea witch, and you got a woman in the fucking ocean, and she's pointing like this, like her hand. Okay? Same deal. That's what I want to do here. Of course, it's not going to look as awesome, but that doesn't mean I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, so I need to shut up, getting drunk. So, anyway, let's put in our big boob chick. So, character drawings, character painting. How do I can only tell you how I do it. Okay? The way I do it is I just fucking do it. Okay? The drunken painting style is for everybody to interpret themselves. Okay? You're going to interpret it different than the next person. Alright? So, it's a matter of you learning and you finding a way to do it. What works for you? There's no fucking guidebook. I couldn't write a book on this shit. I could write maybe a paper on it. But what works for you? That's the drunken painting style. So, the way I approach this, if you need help or you need a reference point or a starting point, this is how I do it. So what we're going to do, I always start with one of my fine detail brushes. Okay? Let me pick out a good one here. We're going to go with this one. Now you see this brush? This is one raggedy fucking brush. But it's awesome. So we're going to start with one of these fine detail brushes. Now what I always do first is I get, I have some pre-mixed skin tone. Okay? And I typically darken it a little bit. So I just use a little brown to darken it. And I picture it in my head. What am I trying to achieve? I always do the outline first. Alright? So I load some fucking paint on the brush. I start with the head. You can actually start with the boobs if you want to. I've done that before. I've started with the boobs before. But I typically start with the head. So what we're going to do, find out where the fuck your head's going to be. Go from there. Keep in mind, it's okay to underdo something. It's not okay to overdo something. Because if you underdo something, you can fucking add to it to get it right. If you overdo something, you're fucked. Alright? That probably made 0 sense. Kiss my ass. Alright, so, if you need courage, you take a drink. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to start with the head. I'm going to go back into my color and reload this brush. And I'm just twisting and turning it in the paint. Let me show you how I'm doing that. So I got my color here, right? This right here is my color. I'm putting the brush in there, and I'm fucking twisting that shit. And then I'm pulling the spot up here, and then I'm twisting it to bring the bristles to a point. And it brings it to a point. Okay? So what I'm going to do here, find out where your head's going to be. My head's going to be looking straight forward. So I'm going to go up here to a point, and I'm just going to do the outline of the head. Okay? Now, at first, you may be like, oh, no, I totally fucked up. Don't worry about it. Keep going, bitch. Okay? Just do the outline. All right? So, I got the head right here. Can you see that on the camera? Yeah, you can see it. All right. Now, I'm going to do the shoulder here because she is pointy. But we're not working about fine details. We're not worried about fine details. We're only worried about the general outline. Okay? Now, right here is about where the boob meat is. Okay? Now, I want massive titties. All right? So this one is going to be like that. All right, you see that? Okay? And this one is going to be like this. And give a bit of separation. Too much paint. Give a bit of separation to the boob meat. It'll pay you real dividends at the end. Okay. Okay. And adjust as you're painting. You know, if you paint one boob bigger than the other, you got to go back. You know, go back and adjust it. Sometimes when you do that, you have to adjust the portions of the body. If you are able to still do that, keep fucking doing it. So I got this. I'm not worried about the finger pointing, right? I got the hands. Now right here, okay, so let's look at this. Obviously, this chick's going to be a fucking Amazon. Alright? It ain't like we can go back and change it. But I'm cool with that because I love Amazon bitches. So, go back in here. Let's make the waist a little bigger because that is highly unrealistic. Not that we're going for realism, but, you know, it gets to a point where it looks stupid. To me, at least. Maybe my boobs on my paintings are so big that people think it looks stupid. I don't know. But anyway, now let's go to the hips. I also like big asses. I never, you know, typically that doesn't get talked about in my videos, but I like big asses too. And I can see right now her legs are going to, okay, well that's not necessarily a bad thing. Her legs are going to extend past the bottom. They're going to extend past the bottom, so we're not going to see her feet. I was hoping to put her feet in the water and then cover her feet up with some of the water, but that's okay. But, you know, I'm actually happy with this. And here's the deal. If it's your first few times painting and you completely mess it up, okay, don't worry about it. Don't fucking worry about it. If you completely mess it up, don't fucking worry about that shit. Once again, you put all your heart into something. You put your heart and your balls into it. If you're a lady, you put your heart and your cunt into it. If you put all your balls into something, it's always going to be beautiful. I'm telling you. And people will see that. Okay? So, if it's your first painting, and you paint something, and you put all your heart into it, and you think it looks like shit at the end, it's okay. Because the next painting you do is going to be way fucking better. And eventually you're going to get to a point where you're going to be able to fucking ejaculate onto this canvas anything you want to see. and you're going to be happy with it. And people are going to be happy with it. And they're going to see your shit and be like, holy crap, that's a bad motherfucker. So the point here is, you can do it. I know you can. So let's put some of the finer of the details in it. Now I'm very happy with the way I got this. So I want her finger to be pointing out like this. So I'm going to try to do this. So we got a little hump here. And then right here. Okay, I'm actually happy with that. And I said I was going to put some Dragon Quest slimes in here, so I can't pull back on that. I got to throw some slimes in the water. But anyway, let's go down here to our other hand, and it's just going to be chilling out here. It ain't going to be doing nothing fancy or special. It's just going to be fucking chilling. All right. Now, get some more. Go back to some of that paint. All right. Now we're just putting the outline here of the separation of the legs, but we need to go back in that and add a darker color to make some type of shadowing. Okay, so and this is also a place where you can refine your painting and iron out some of the mistakes that you may have made. Okay, so we're just going to clean our brush here. Now this is where we go in, and I'm going to use my big filbert brush. I also need a beer right now. Okay, so let me go grab a beer real quick. Okay, so this is beer number 4, by the way, on an empty stomach. So I got my big ass filbert brush in here. This is about a 3/8 inch. Okay. Now we're going to go up in this biatch, and we're going to take that skin tone. We're going to fucking saturate the hell out of this brush, and we're going to start blocking her in. Okay? So just go up in there and start blocking your character in. By the way, I've got to mention, and I wish her nose was a little pointier. I'm trying to get a little pointier here. That's a little bit better. I might be able to correct that in a minute. But if you do any paintings in the drunken painting style, send me an image of it or a video. Doesn't matter. If you send me an image or a video, I will use it in one of my episodes of the Drunken Nerd Painter. So I want you to use the style, and then I want you to send me a picture of it. Okay? And I will use it. The email address is JonsNerdRage@gmail.com. And that is spelled just like the way my channel is, no H, JonsNerdRage @gmail.com. Send that to me, and if you do art, and it doesn't even have to be on the canvas. You know, the drunken painting style applies to anything. If you do it in fucking Microsoft Paint, if you put your heart into it, you use the drunken painting style, send the shit to me. Send it to me, I want to see it. Because I want this to work for you. Because when I discovered this, I knew that I was on to something special. And I want to see it work for all you. Also, let me know what type of beer you were drinking. Or wine or liquor, champagne, mixed drinks, doesn't matter. As long as it has alcohol in it. Let me know what drinks you were drinking at the time. Now, as you can see, after this, we're going to go back in there with the darker skin tone. So that's our shadow skin tone. And this, we're going to start fucking squirting and ejaculating it into every bit of her crevices. Okay? Just to give separation. So we're going to give separation to the boobs. We're going to, the boob meat. We're going to give separation to the legs. So that's what we're going to do immediately after this. So you're seeing this being one big blocky character with, you know, one static color. But we're going to go back in and give it separation. Okay? We will give it separation. Okay. I'm happy with that. And I have drank 3 beers in a fucking hour. I think that's called binge drinking. I just call it a regular ass night. So anyway, we're going to take our little fine detail brush. Okay? And we got that same skin tone. I'm adding a little bit of this light brown to it to darken it. Okay? That's going to be our shadow color. And depending on what type of skin tone you're using, just add a darker color in it to achieve the effect that you want, okay? Because this is how, because you can see right here, as you can see, this is one solid color. There's no definition between the tits. There's no there's no way to distinguish between the legs. That's what we're doing here with the darker skin tone. So let's go to the tits first. And you got to get up underneath the boob meat. Let me get out of the way where you can see this. You got to get up underneath the boob meat, okay? So we're going to get up underneath it, and we're just going to get just fucking start ejaculating up underneath our boob meat. And we have that there. So when we have it, we're going to start touching it to tap it out and kind of blend it in just a little bit, okay? Now on this other side, I'm going to do a lighter fucking stroke, okay? So there we go. Good, 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 good. So, same thing down here. Where her vag is, bam, we just throw a V in there. Now we're going to give separation to her legs. Alright? Get some more color up in here. Okay, now I'm going to put this brush down. And you know, I'm not super happy with that right there, but I think that turned out all right. We're going to take that same skin tone, the darker skin tone, okay? We're going to go up here, and I want to do this shit right here. And that's going to go, I guess that's the collarbone or whatever. Now down here, I'm going to throw a fucking belly button in there. Alright. Alright, so we're going to throw that in there. Now, I'm going to start tapping that shit, just to try and blend it out just a little bit, just to give it, oh shit, fuck it up. Add some more color to that, some of the green showing through. Oh. Oh. So we have that right there, right? Now, let's go in there and throw some fucking nips in. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make y'all bitches wait. We're going to do the face first. The second most important part. So, I got that little fine detail brush that I just did some of the shadow boob work with. And I'm going to get, let's see, I need some red. Do I have some red on my palette? I do. So I got some red here. Now let's go up here and do some lips. Okay? So, right here, we're going to do some lips. And if you're too drunk while you do this, eat you something. Eat you peanut butter and jelly. Eat you a hot dog. Eat you a hamburger. Doesn't matter. Eat you something to regulate your drunkenness, because you do need a steady hand while you do this. Now, alcohol will make your hand steady up to a certain point, but then it doesn't make your hand steady at all. Okay? So we got some nice lips on them right there. So what we want to do now is I'm going to wash this little tiny brush, and I want to do the white of our eyes. Okay? So, got some white here. Dry that brush out. I did clean my brush. And I'm going to go up here with a blob. Now, this is a blob of paint on this. So I know it's gonna squish when I go on there. Bam, right there. And I'm tapping these eyes in. I'm not stroking, I'm tapping. So I'm gonna put the whites in. Alright, so that looks good. Now we're gonna go back and we need a dark color. So we're gonna do some black. So bam, we're gonna do some black right here. Once again, I got a blob. That's a blob of paint. So when I touch it, it's gonna squish off. Bam. I'm gonna try and blot that in. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. As long as it don't drip, that's good. Very happy with that. Very good. So the same thing too. I need to put a nostril on, and I don't have a blob this time. I just have some fucking black paint on my thing. And there we go. Now also too, I'm gonna go inside her lips here and add a little separation, and I'm gonna fucking go back and cover that up because that looks like shit. So I'm gonna go back over with some of the red paint and blob it in. There we go. It actually ended up turning out pretty good because it actually did, it blended with the black. Okay, so now we need to put some nips in this biatch. Let me give you all a little show. I think I fucked that up because my hand was in the way. Now, I got some of that red color, right? And then I have some white. So we're going to make some nips here. Now you make whatever color nips you prefer. If you like really light pink ones, do that. If you like the darker ones, do that too. It's whatever you prefer. Paint the nipples that you like. Okay? So I like light nipples. I mean, I like all fucking nipples, but so we're gonna put some fucking pink ones on here, some super light pink ones. So I just got some white and a tiny bit of red, and I'm just gonna start fucking squirting and ejaculating this on the side of my palette here to get me a nice color. So I got my little liner brush, and I'm gonna go here, and right here, I'm gonna fucking put that nipple right there, and I like that. That's pretty good. And I like the bigger nips. Once again, I like all nips, but if you were asking me what I prefer, I like them big ass nips. The ones with like the bumps around it and shit. Where you can like fucking do this. You know what I mean? But anyway, I like the big nips. So we're going to put some big nips on her. Same thing on the other side. And like I've said many times in my videos, once you put the nips on boobs, it just fucking brings the boobs to life. Okay? Now I got some straight fucking red, and I globbed it on my brush, and I'm just gonna dot it in the middle. Actually, those are the areolas. These are the nips. So let's just ejaculate some nips on her. That was pretty good. Now I can tell here, I probably need to go in here and do some work to fix this. Because I can see that shadow color, I overdid it on that boob there. But the great thing here is that we can go back in here and we can fix this. Okay? So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take another one of my little liner brushes. I'm going to get a lot of paint on it. Like that. I'm going to go back here and see if I can cover up some of the shadow a little bit. See what we can do here. And you know, I said massive titties, but you know, those aren't massive, but they're definitely big. So I'm happy with that. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's see if we can get some more coverage on that boob there. See if we can get some more on that boob meat. I'm good with that. Let's go down here and see if we can cover up a little bit of this shadow. You know, this happens sometimes. Sometimes you overdo something or you forget something. You just go back in and fix it. If you can go back in and fix it, then you're fucking good to go. You know what I mean? All right, so I'm happy with that. I'm not going to know exactly what it looks like until it's completely dry, but I'm pretty happy with that. Now let's go in there and let's lay some hair into her, okay? And we're going to do that with a little small fan brush, okay? So I got my little small fan brush again, and this thing has been very useful tonight. I think it has something to do with the fact that I'm painting on a pretty small canvas. But, you know, I'm pretty happy with this. So we're going to go into her right here, all right? Now, if anybody's watching now, what color hair would you like to see? Let me know. Let me know while I'm sitting here fucking thinking. But everything's looking good right now. I think I'm going to end up putting the slimes and shit somewhere around here. Okay? That's what I'm thinking. But I'm not sure. So, what I'm thinking with the color, I'm thinking of a really light purple. Okay? So, I'll tell you what, that's what we're going to do. Got me some purple here. Ooh, put way too much purple on that bitch. A little bit of white. I'm going to add just a little purple to that white. I'm going to underblend it, okay? I'm not going to go crazy with the blending. And you can see it's all varied. The colors are varied on there. We're going to go up here. And I'm thinking, check this shit out. Now check this out. I want to see some of the hair draping across the boob. Alright, and then going this way. So I'm thinking, let's take this. The first thing we do, go right to the center, right? Just like that, okay? So, just like that. It's going to cover up a little bit of the boob meat, but that's okay because we have plenty of boob that we can look at right here. So I'm cool with that. Okay. Let's see if we can get down here this way. Try some more, see what we got here. Pretty happy with that. Looks pretty good to me. Tell you what, let's throw a little bit more down there. All right. So I'm pretty happy with that. Oh snap! You know what? No, that's what I'm missing. I'm sitting here looking at it and it looked kind of funny to me. We need to throw a little bit of this. That's a lot of goddamn hair, isn't it? Hmm. I could have thought about this hair a little bit more, but as long as the nips or the boobs are still showing, the nips were pretty good. Okay. All right. I'm happy with that. Now then. Oh, actually, no. Go back up here. Fuck that. We need more lift. Okay. I'm cool with that. Now, I got one more thing left to do. Over here, I said I was going to put a Dragon Quest slime in it. Let's do it. So, I'm going to put a big Dragon Quest slime in. And if we can only put one, we got to put the blue one. So, I got my big liner brush out. Go up here. The thing here is that you just do it. Don't think about it. Just fucking do it. And I need to throw some water over him. And the problem there also too is I don't have any more of that watercolor that's wet. So we might have an issue there. But we can go in there with fucking, we're going to see what we can do. Hell, I may just have that motherfucker on top of the water. So we got the blue here, right? Throw some more color up in that. Okay. How does that look on there? It looks pretty good. Now, clean my brush off. Then we need to get some of that white. So let me get some of this white right here. Ooh, shit. Need some more white. Yep. Now, got to throw two eyes up in there, and I think they're pretty close together if I remember right. Pretty close. We're just tapping because this paint is still wet, and this is acrylic. So we're not trying to mix this shit together. So this may not be the most perfect slime, but it's going to be up there. It's going to be a fucking Dragon Quest slime. So anyway, smiley face. Little squishy things at the end. And guess what? I think we have a completed painting. So we're just going to take our little script liner brush here. Ooh, shit. If I can find one, there we go. And let me get some red color here. Ah, fuck, yeah, there we go. I'm gonna take some red and we're just gonna sign this bitch. And I use red, but you use whatever color that you prefer. And I certainly hope you enjoyed painting with me today. I damn sure enjoyed this. If you're thinking about giving the Drunken Painting style a shot, I highly encourage you. Because it is an enjoyable experience. And everybody can paint. All it takes is this shit right here. And maybe a little bit of this. My name is John Mills. I am the Drunken Nerd Painter. Have a nice day.